Tomorrow is World Communion Sunday. It's the day when many Christians around the world will be celebrating the sacrament of Holy Communion. I love communion in general, anyway, but I especially love World Communion Sunday because it reminds us of the ways that we are all connected. So many different varieties, so many different places, so many cultures, so many languages, so many kinds of people, so many races, so many backgrounds and lifestyles, and all those differences, the way God created us in such a beautiful mosaic around this world. We need this reminder because we often put up walls between ourselves and those who are different. And so it is that we have World Communion Sunday, but it's different this year, isn't it? Usually we are able to take the communion, which I would be handing to people, and we would celebrate in that way. This year, because of the pandemic, we will be doing it very differently. People will be worshiping at home, and they will have their own bread or whatever, and their own juice. Those who will be gathering in our churches will either have something that they've brought with them, or will have a prepackaged communion of juice and a wafer. It's definitely not the same, but nothing is the same these days, is it? Well, one thing is the same, and that is the unifying Spirit of Jesus Christ, the Christ of all nations, as we find here in this painting. In this painting, Jesus is wearing many different kinds of flags in his robe. And I love this print. I can't even remember where I first saw it, but his arms are open, welcoming all people. That is the Jesus Christ whom we love and serve. And his Spirit is far greater than our little elements of juice and bread or wafer. He is greater than time and space. And God is able to unite us as one in spite of all of the separation that we are experiencing, in spite of the fact that we will not physically share of one loaf. We are still sharing the one body of Jesus Christ. And so in spite of all of the many differences that we are experiencing these days, the many ways that we are separated from one another, physically or emotionally or spiritually or politically, whatever ways that we find ourselves feeling apart from one another, World Communion Sunday invites us to put all of those things aside and to stop and place ourselves in the loving arms of Jesus Christ, who is pulling us all in to himself. Such great love, one great family. I pray that whenever you might be feeling separate, that you will place yourselves in his loving arms. And I pray that if you are not worshiping with us in the morning or at some other point watching our worship services online, I hope that you will take an opportunity, a moment, a quiet moment, just to place yourself before him and take some bread and some juice and invite the Spirit's blessing on those simple elements, and then partake of those elements, remembering how he shared that last meal, that Passover supper with his dearest friends, and how he blessed the bread and broke it and gave it to them, and how he blessed the cup and passed it around to them all. Do this in remembrance of me, he invited. And we do it in remembrance of him, in celebration of his presence with us today, and in anticipation of the time when we will all be united together, one great family. May God's grace and peace bless you. May we all remember the Christ that comes to break down the walls that divide us. And may we feel the unity that comes in his loving spirit. Grace abounds, and we are loved. Amen.